your entire community might be living in Discord, but if that disappears or suddenly everyone has to start providing ID, you might lose it all. So let's find an alternative for Discord. I'm going to go into our local host, click on alternatives and search Discord. Let's have a look here. What do I like? I did a video not that long ago on Element and Matrix. So I want to skip Matrix. That's more of a chat, like a voice chat. I want something more text-based, and I think I'm going to choose Mattermost. Mattermost is more of a Slack than a perfect Discord alternative. But if you're just looking for chat, and I'll show you how to install something that gives you video and voice all managed, then Mattermost is a really good option. For this, you will need a server running an operating system. I'm going to do this with Unraid, link in my bio, because it is just hands down the best. And you will need something like Pangolin or Cloudflare. You don't have to do any specific port forwarding. It's pretty straightforward. So Cloudflare free will work perfectly fine. I'll show you how to set it up with Pangolin. You can run this locally at home and have access, or you can put it up anywhere you like. If you're running a public server, then using Coolify, you can just do a one-click install with Mattermost there. But for this, I'm going to build it in Unraid. So we need to do 2 installs. First, we need Postgres. I'm going to install Postgres 18. So just go to the App Store, Postgres, click install, and let it install. I am going to give this Mattermost. I'm just going to give it a name, and then I'm going to add a password, a user, and a database name. This is what I'm using. You can do something a lot more secure, but it works for me. So I'm going to have an MMUSER for the password. Copy that. I'll put that as the user as well, and then I'm just going to call the database Mattermost, and that is on port 5432. Double check that in your allocations you don't have any other ports running the same. Hit apply, give that a moment. Once that's done, click done. Then I'm going to look in the App Store for Mattermost. And just quickly, as you can see on our local host, Windows, Proxmox, Unraid, Umbrel, Docker, TrueNAS, I have the links all there, so it'll run on all of those systems. So click on Mattermost, and you'll see that there's a little instruction here. We have to make a directory. I will have all of this code in my Patreon for you to follow along with. I'm just going to copy this for now. Click in the terminal button. That opens the terminal. Paste it in, so it's going to make the directory in the user app data, and it's going to add multiple different folders. Because we're going to install plugins, that's why it's going to do it. Then chown, so give some ownership to allow Mattermost to read and write and add files to that directory. So hit enter, done. Now click on the app, click install, and we have to do a little bit of configuration. So I'm going to leave the data logs config, all of this. This is what we just created those folders for. I need to update the data source. This is the Postgres. Now I'm just copying this in here. So it's Postgres. It'll be in the Patreon. It does give me the Postgres SQL 18. So this is the name of that Docker container. If you don't want to screw around with networking, just add the IP address. It's going to be a lot easier. So I'm just adding the IP address of the server where that Postgres has been installed. And then you can leave all of that. Now in the site URL for setup, I'm going to add this as the server. But when I update it and we add the URL from Pangolin or Cloudflare, I'm going to come back and change it. So I'm just doing this for the setup. Hit apply, let that install. Okay, that is done. Done. Go back into my Docker. The reason I'm going to do it like this, like set it up, do the setup first and then come back and change the URL is I just want to remove any potential places for things to go wrong. So it seems to have started. I'm just going to quickly check the logs. If there was an error, it's going to jump out and go, there was a problem. Okay, that seems to be an issue, but that is a mail server issue and playbooks are connected. That's fine. There's no issue. So this now, if I click on web UI, perfect. Yay. Okay. So I'm going to go and set up a domain name. So we are on 8065. I'm going to go into Pangolin. You can use Cloudflare. Pangolin's just what I use. So I've gone into Pangolin, going to go into my resources and public, going to add a resource. It is a HTTPS resource, a web, and I'm going to call this Mattermost. Subdomain will be Mattermost. You can call it whatever you like. Hit add target, give it the IP address of the server and the port that we set up, create the resource. Now, you won't need to do this in Cloudflare. It will just be public, but I'm going to turn off authentication. So one of the good things about Pangolin is that it can password protect all of your resources that you set public as default. It is just on. So only people you add to your Pangolin account can access, or give them the password. It's just a good thing about Pangolin. Okay, so now I should be able to just click on the URL. It loads, but internal settings we need to change. So back in Unraid, click on the Mattermost application, and we need to set this URL, the site URL here, to the URL, the public one we've just made. This is so when you have a link or you want to share, it's coming from the actual URL, not from the IP address. Hit apply, done. Then I'm just going to restart. It will have restarted already, but I'm just going to restart it. And I'm just going to have auto start on and on. So if the server goes down and then comes back up, it'll just automatically run. Now I'm going back in. There is a desktop app, there are mobile apps, so it's across everything. Now you've got a public server. You just connect. I'm just going to view in browser for now. Let's set this up. Give myself a username, create a password, create the account. This is creating the account on my server, not on a public Mattermost account. Create an organization, continue. Just going to skip for now. And you see here is the URL that you can share out to have other people access. Done. You can start chatting. Hi there. And anyone in there is going to access. So that is chat. Chat is set up. Now, if you want to do video calls, in the top left here, there's a little icon. Let's click that and go into our system console. There is a lot you can optimize here, but if you go to plugin management, you'll see that we can't upload plugins. And if we enable the marketplace, it's not allowing us to do any editing. There is a built-in call service. If you're all on the same network, it will just work. Done. If you are having people access from outside your server, you'll have to have a stun and a turn server. That's work. Have a look at the, I think I did a matrix. Yeah, so I have a guide on using Matrix and Synapse. In that, I show you how to set up a stun and turn server using Matrix. It's work. Let's not bother. Let's install a plugin and use Jitsi. We need to go into the config.json on our Unraid server and make an edit. Let's do that. So back in Unraid, can look and we see our Mattermost and then config.json. We need to edit that file. Can't do it here, so I'm going to go through terminal. Again, let's click up in our icon for terminal. So I want to nano. Actually, I don't think you can see that. Okay, so I want to nano mount user app data Mattermost config.json. Right. And we scrolling all the way down till we find, what is it called? Plugins. Plugin settings. Okay, here we are, plugin settings. So while it is already enabled, we need to change allow insecure download URL to be true, and we need to change enable uploads to also be true. Then I'm going to do Control O, enter, Control X to close. Then we can get out of terminal, go back to our Docker, click and restart the container. Perfect. Back into our system. So refresh, and we now have the ability to upload plugins. Let's download the Jitsi plugin. In the Mattermost community GitHub, Mattermost plugin Jitsi. Again, link I'll put in the Patreon. Scroll, and we want to go to the releases, click on the name, and then get the Jitsi tar.gz, this one. Depending on when you see this, it may be updated. We just want to get the most recent. And then download that. Go back into your Mattermost, upload plugin, select the file you just downloaded, which is the Jitsi, and upload. Also, just so you know, you can self-host your own Jitsi server. I haven't done a guide on that. Maybe I will, but you can self-host your own Jitsi server. For this, I'm just using the public one. That is installed now, and I'm going to hit enable. I'm just going to disable the calls for now. No real need to do that. I'm just doing that so there's no conflict. And then I'm going to click on settings. If you're using Chrome and I think Firefox, you can enable this and it will show the video call in the browser window. I'm using Arc tab, which is Chrome. It just seems to error for me. So I'm going to leave that as false. It's a little floating window. You can set pre-join in page, all of that sort of stuff. Don't really need to do anything. Just hit save. Now go back to the chat, and all you need to do / just type Jitsi space start space and call this hello, enter, and it creates a meeting. Now I'm going to click join meeting, and I can join a meeting. Now you will need to make an account. Someone will need to make an account. Ideally you just use Google. It's fine, or whatever you want. It's free. If you're using the public servers, you just need to have an account, because there has to be a moderator. You can set an unmoderated URL, but that's, again, it's just extra work. A throwaway Google account and use that to log in, and you're fine. That's it. So anyone, you can share that URL, and anyone on that call can jump in the meeting. So you can invite members, copy the link, or if we go into our system console, you can see that there is an SMTP functionality here, so you can send emails out of here, usually going to be the signups things. Use something like Mailgun. I think it's free for 100 emails a day. You can use a push server, and you can set up a ton of, names, descriptions, add people into teams. It's as much as you could possibly want to do. So there you go. That is pretty straightforward on how you can replace Discord or any other chat app with Mattermost.